What do you get when you cross a World War I machine gun carrier with a motorcycle and forget to add a reverse gear? A three-wheeled British oddball so rare, only 6 survive today. Ladies and gentlemen, and my friend Timmy, today we bring you the weirdest three-wheeler you've never heard of. The 1921 Scott Sociable. It's British. And it's got more personality than a room full of politicians during election week. Let me introduce you to the bizarre, beautiful, and bold Scott Sociable, a three-wheeled oddball that looked like a car, steered like a unicycle, and handled like a stubborn donkey on a frozen lake. But before we throw ourselves into this triangular tango of tubular steel, do us a solid and hit that subscribe button like you're pulling the starting lever on a cold winter morning. You'll thank me when we cover the next vehicle that's just as impractical and equally majestic. Back to the Sociable. It came from the mind of Alfred Angas Scott, the man who gave us fast two-strokes and sidecar-mounted machine guns, because who doesn't want firepower while commuting, right? During World War I, he built sidecar gun carriers. Then, in 1915, he said, "Let's turn this battlefield tech into something for Sunday drives." So technically, this thing was built for war and ended up as a glorified picnic basket on wheels. Production didn't actually start until 1921 because, well, there was a war on, and then peacetime brought in the great British tradition of bureaucracy, tea, and missed deadlines. By the time the thing finally hit the streets, Britain was roaring into the 1920s, and the Sociable was crawling in on 3 wheels, no reverse gear, and a face only a mother could love. So what is it? Technically speaking, it's a triangulated tubular steel frame vehicle with 1 front wheel steered by rack and pinion fancy and 2 rear wheels, only one of which is actually driven. That's right, the offside rear wheel does all the work while the other just tags along like Timmy at a wedding buffet. The engine, a 578cc, water-cooled, 2-stroke, twin-cylinder wonder from Scott's own motorcycle line. It churned out a glorious 5 to 8 horsepower and could reach a top speed of around 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, 25 to 28 miles per hour, depending on which way the wind was blowing. Power was sent through a 3-speed, constant mesh gearbox with, get this, no reverse. That's right. If you overshoot your parking spot, you're doing the Flintstones shuffle. Now, let's talk suspension. The Sociable used coil springs front and back, which sounds good until you realize they were probably repurposed from a grandfather clock. The brakes were a duo of independent rear-wheel stoppers. The front, no brakes, just vibes. The handbrake controlled one wheel, the foot brake the other. Braking was more of a suggestion. The body itself is a shell made of fiberboard or wood panels, just enough material to call it a car without angering the furniture industry. It featured a single, full-width bench seat upholstered in basic black material, wide enough for 2 adults sitting shoulder to shoulder. The controls were automotive but quirky. The throttle pedal stuck out of the right panel, the gear lever was jammed next to the driver, and the clutch and brake pedals had helpful little letters cast into them, C and B. So if you forget which one's which, you're not just confused, you're also illiterate. To start it, you open the fuel tap, flood the carburetor, then give the starting lever a firm pull. Kind of like waking up Timmy after 3 beers and a fish fry requires effort and usually results in smoke. As for driving it, well, let's just say you didn't steer the Sociable, you negotiated with it. Fast corners were a gamble. 1 front wheel meant every bend felt like an audition for a circus act. But oh, the springing! The 1923 brochure claimed you could ride it for thousands of miles without getting your spine rearranged. Unlike those vicious valve-clattering sidecars, apparently. Now, let's get to the juicy part. The money. In 1921, the Sociable was a solid 273 British pounds sterling, and by 1924, that had plummeted to 135 pounds sterling. Not because it got cheaper to make, but because no one was buying them. Production ended in 1924 after just 50 to 200 units. 6 are known to survive. That's right, 6! Fewer than the number of conspiracy theories Bob shares at every neighborhood barbecue. At an H&H Classics auction in April 2022, a 1924 Scott Sociable sold for £26,450 British pounds sterling. That's over $35,000. Most other sales fall below 20,000 British pounds sterling. But when you're talking one of 6 in the world, prices are like Timmy's fishing stories, always rising. So what do we say about the Scott Sociable? It's not fast, it's not practical, and it sure as heck wasn't a commercial hit. But it's charming, inventive, and totally nuts. A weird, triangular ghost from Britain's motoring past that dared to be different. And in a world full of boring cars and beige sport utility vehicles, we need that. Help us keep digging up these glorious automotive fossils by sponsoring the channel. Big thanks to all our sponsors. You're the rack to our pinion and the spring in our coil.